I do not like mosquitoes. In fact, I'm allergic to them.
Yes. I have a son, Max, who's also allergic to mosquitoes.
The white, like, welts.
Yep.
And they puff up huge.
Yep.
Some people have it, and boy, did my parents pick the wrong state to live in for a boy who is allergic to mosquitoes. But if you hate mosquitoes, if you're allergic to them, there is a remedy, and it's a company called Mosquito Nix.
Yep, I have a system in my house, and I don't have to worry about going into my backyard at dusk, especially like right now where it's kind of cool outside when the sun goes down. But that's when the mosquitoes come out.
I love it.
But not at my house, because around my whole fence, the perimeter of my whole yard, there's these misters. And there's a Mosquito Nix misting system that mist the backyard during peak mosquito times, and it keeps them out of there. After a certain amount of time, it forms a barrier. I have no mosquitoes anywhere near my house.
Yeah, it degrades and breaks down really, really rapidly.
Oh, yeah, the chemical,
The little
organic.
lines that they use, you can't even see them.
No,
It's like microscopic little fine lines in order to disperse it. I have a portable system because I don't have a yard. I have a balcony.
Yep.
And it's perfect. Go out there. I'm starting the grill. I don't want to swat mosquitoes. My daughter wants to go out there and hang with me. I put the little mister on there.
Great.
Done.
Also, another thing the Mosquito Nix does, because it's about to be winter soon, and during winter we have less of a mosquito problem, so they switch over to their Christmas light program, and they have all their installers. They'll install Christmas lights for you. They've done it for my house, Daniel's house, 2 years in a row. It's so much more convenient.
It's the best.
They store them for you.
They gave me like a Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade-sized wreath. Did you see my wreath?
Yeah.
It was huge. During the summer, they're killing things, and during the winter, they're making smiles.
Absolutely. And if you do it early, too, there's even a discount. So if you give them a call, go to mosquitonix.com.
Oh, the best part, they set it all up, then they take it all down, they put it in bins, so if you continue to use them, like Tom and I
use the same one.
They just use the same one. So if you get it dialed in, because, guys, we all know how our wives get particular about the way they like things. Well, I'm going to get that same wreath again because they marked it, they organized my stuff, they took it away, they bring it, they take it away. It's awesome.
So much easier. Just have them do it.
It's amazing.
It's mosquitonix.com.
In the boy, the larynx and the vocal cords change so that his voice acquires the deeper pitch of a man's voice. The shoulders become broader, thighs grow longer, and the muscles become stronger. Hair begins to grow on the face, under the arms, and in the pubic area.
You are a man, and in taking on the role of the world's
second
greatest gender, you must adhere to a gentleman's guide to manliness.
It is A Gentleman's Guide. I'm Dan Dennis.
Tom Van.
Steve Kramer.
So I was surfing Facebook.
I had to fight to not say boom. I always want to say boom there, and I don't know why. I don't know why I do that. It's a mental problem.
Is that every time or just when I'm here?
No, only A Gentleman's Guide. Yeah,
interesting.
It's only on A Gentleman's Guide. I want to go like boom, but why? Why
like
am I doing that?
So I'm going to ask you guys a question, and this is not because
It's a legal question.
I think one way or the other, but it did.
Whenever you preface,
I was curious because I was like, is this true? Okay, so
elevator button's not working.
No.
Did you know that, Steve? This guy's been red hot mad about elevator. The closed door button will not work.
It doesn't work.
Oh, that it's a placebo?
Yeah.
Just to make people
It's
feel
only
better?
for firefighters. They put their key in, they turn it to the right, then they can use it.
Yeah. It's and so it's just a dummy button.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
So I see this ad on Facebook, and it's by Whirlpool, right? The company Whirlpool that makes
water filtration systems,
laundry, washers and dryers, and all
I like Whirlpool. Good brand.
Yeah. So I see
Do
this.
I have any Whirlpool? No.
This Facebook ad, and it says this. It says, every day thousands of kids miss school because they don't have access to clean clothes. Whirlpool is installing washers and dryers in schools to help. And it's some sort of charity program they're putting together, right? So
do the kids take their clothes off like in the... Okay, this is going to sound very disrespectful, but I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
So do they take their clothes off like in the pornos, and then the kids are standing there naked washing their clothes? You're going to have to seal off that building and make it really safe.
So
you have a lot of nude children in there.
I was like...
Because they wash what they have on.
I was like, is this...
Kids aren't going to take a bundle of laundry to school, are they?
Well, I assume there's other outfits. You wash the outfit you're not wearing, right?
Well...
Not in the pornos, Steve.
That juxtaposition is troubling.
Is this... Have you ever heard of this? Because then I was like...
No.
Okay, and then I had this now.
Because I can remember going to school, even coming here with, like, I've come here before where I don't have any clean shorts.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, God, I hate to wear these, but hey, gotta work.
I think that's one of the great things about our country now is that nobody should have to have dirty clothes because everybody has access to laundry. Like, you don't have to find a river and wash your clothes in the water. Even if you don't have a laundry machine, there's a million laundry mats. So
I guess
I can't imagine unless
extreme
somebody's not
poverty.
stepping up to do the job, then it should be obtainable.
But I feel like unless your clothes are like
I mean, how dirty?
stinky, unless they're stinky, then it doesn't matter. If you just have a couple of some dust, some stains, some debris, some dirt,
it says
you go to school, right?
Now, I understand as far as like, in extreme poverty situations, like the household may be in disarray and you don't have like clean clothes.
I've heard don't have clothes. I've heard that.
I understand that there are problems and there are situations that are real bad, and I imagine teachers have to deal with it. But do kids actively miss school because they started doing elementary school and stuff? So I was like, in elementary school, I mean, it's not like you make an active decision. Like, if you get to high school, you could skip school and be like, I'm not going to go to school.
That is usually an issue at home. If laundry is not getting done, that's usually not because there's not access to soap or a laundry machine. It is usually because there's an issue, and that could be that you've got a sick parents. And, there's feasibly excusable reasons why it's not happening, and then there's the unexcusable because there's addiction issues or inattentive issues or abuse issues.
Mama's
but
got
there's
her
no
door
excuse.
shut again.
It's a bad, there's some bad situation. But I was like,
essentially, all of us in America are the 1%. So, I can't imagine that being an issue in the United States of America.
So then, like, I was like, does this, like, because they were talking about how there's a big thousands of kids a day miss school because they're like, I don't have any clean clothes to wear.
How does it work though?
So
do you bring your clothes to school?
That's what I was going to. So then
in a laundry bag like you would if you were at camp, you had that mesh bag that you put all your dirty stuff in.
So
duffel.
Yeah.
And maybe a little sock bag to go with it.
Yep.
They said Whirlpool's like donating washers and dryers to schools so the kids could could bring clothes to wash there. And I was like, are they going to do that? Like how?
I would think if kids are at school, they should be doing their schoolwork, and at home, somebody should be taking care of the laundry.
You could do you could put in okay, hold on. I think I'm following this. So you stay after, you do your homework while you're doing loads of laundry.
But is this for high school kids? Because they're mentioning elementary school kids. Because I started reading because they're like, go to this website. It's our care.
You could do laundry if you were like upper elementary, middle school. You could do laundry.
Yeah, but what I'm wondering is the kids that have this problem, that their clothes are so dirty that they can't go to school.
They're going to use the resource.
Well, then it's like, are there, like, obviously this is a parental issue, right? Like,
yes.
Because
kids generally aren't expected to do their own laundry up to maybe a certain age.
Of course, yeah. If you're in high school, and believe me, when I was in high school, my mom expected me to wash or at least bring my clothes to the washer and dryer, and I'd forget. And some days I would free ball it because I didn't have any clean underwear in high school.
You're the
I prefer going commando as the term, by the way.
Commando it.
So, every day, one Miami redneck trash kid free balls.
Yeah.
Do you want this happening on your watch?
So, but I'm talking about if it's so bad in middle school and elementary school that your kid literally misses school because his clothes are so dirty.
Happens.
Are you gonna be cognizant enough to put all his clothes in a laundry bag?
Would have to be. You'd have to do it yourself.
I've learned in my line of work that the details matter. So I thought it would be worthwhile to look at the program page. And what Whirlpool says is that they're identifying teachers, administrators, or parents to come in and assist with the laundry. So it's not that the kids come in and do laundry; it's that parents come in, sign up for time slots, and volunteer to do laundry.
I would do that
too.
right now.
That's right. That's different. That's a doable thing, and that is really stepping in. And listen, there's probably excusable instances where maybe you've got sick parents, and I know what it's like to have kids' laundry. The amount of laundry kids generate is obscene. So you get sick parents, and they're dealing with like an issue, or there's somebody sick in the family. That's understandable. But other than that, it's parents not stepping up to do the job.
But is this a big enough problem?
Yes, they said 1 in 5 kids doesn't have access to clean clothes, and it makes them more likely to miss school. And it says 7 times the number of kids that miss school are 7 times more likely to drop out.
We're not thinking about the single parents, and I think that's where you would get a high concentration. If mama's working and mama also battling depression and mama's also trying to get you off to school, I'm only using a girl just as point of reference, then I could see where maybe clean clothes might have fallen through the wayside because she's trying to make rent and also battle whatever demon.
And you're more likely to be accurate, Daniel. I mean, more likely the absentee parent is generally going to be the dad. I mean, that's statistically true.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I mean, great program.
Now here's why I'm cynical.
They should have put in something about because I feel like the washers and dryers that's the easy part. It's finding the people to sign up to help do the laundry that's the hard part. That's the part you should focus on.
But there are a lot of parents that get involved with schools. I mean, that's frankly the biggest indicator of like student success is parental involvement, and parents caring to be involved. Luckily, I mean, at least I've only seen in our community, we got a lot of parents that step up, pretty active PTAs, and parents show up and they volunteer.
Yeah, well, those parents that are involved, I mean, this is not the problem. Like,
that's right, they're not the problem.
No, yeah. They're going to be like, I'll volunteer to go and wash. The problem is if your kid doesn't have clean clothes, like there's a bigger thing going on in the household.
That's an embarrassing thing for a kid too. I mean, you don't want to be called Pigpen or
at like a private school that you go to where you have a uniform. Do they have extra uniforms for you if you came to school and you didn't have one?
Or if something gets your uniform can get messed up.
I feel like once you're paying for a private school,
I feel like I should be able to drop. Once I'm paying though, I feel like I should drop my kid off. They go into a tiny a gym room where they can dress out into clothing that's provided for them, almost like a sports team.
So what happens is you have suppliers that are authorized by the school to provide the clothes, and that's where you buy them from. But like if your kid messes up their shirt, or if they're young kids like pre-K or kindergarten, they have extra clothes in case they have an accident or whatever. And then typically parents will donate their old clothes once the kids grow out of them and they don't have younger kids to the school to give to kids that are there on scholarship or don't have clothes or whatever.
Now, this could just be me being cynical because I am very cynical when it comes to a lot of these things. And so follow me because I could be totally wrong. And it could be like, Whirlpool, they found a problem and they're helping to solve it. And this... For me, because I know how the big corporations work and like marketing firms and all this stuff, and I know when
based on your experience with one corporation, yes, you know exactly how all of them work.
I don't know how all of them work, but I have an understanding.
He has a good understanding of at least the one he worked for.
And there you go. And I understand how marketing. firms work.
I know exactly what you're thinking now.
And I feel this. Maybe I could be totally wrong. Listen, I'm not. But
this has colored your perspective on corporate responsibility and charitable involvement.
Well, the cynical side of me says that some marketing firm that Whirlpool pays, because these giant corporations have marketing firms that they pay to come up with ideas for marketing, and to me, it seems like a bunch of people are sitting around like, hey, Whirlpool, they hired us to come up with an idea that we could figure out. They're like, what could because I can imagine them thinking like, what could be some charity that's laundry, and then they're looking up and they're like, well, there's like a little stat here that says like, there are kids that show up to school with dirty clothes or whatever. Like, but are they staying home because their clothes are so dirty that they're like, listen, I want to go to school, but my clothes are so dirty that I'm missing school. But is that the problem? Because it seems like there's a bigger problems than this, that is causing.
That's the craziest compound question statement.
I know, but
we need a transcript.
The thing is, it seems
I know. I saw
there's a lot going on there.
Whatever else is happening in the household that causing the kids' clothes to be so dirty.
I said that I knew what you were thinking, and then you went in a completely different direction.
They're solving an ancillary, or they're saying they're solving an ancillary problem, but the bigger problem, it's kind of like
what's the bigger problem?
The bigger problem is something that's happening in this household, whether it be like
I would imagine there's some sort of addiction or mental illness.
Yeah, they're getting to the symptom, but not the cause.
That is the problem.
Because
what does that have to do with their corporate responsibility?
If mom is depressed,
spend your money on that, Whirlpool.
Oh, he's yelling again.
Spend your money on that.
That's his new thing.
You're stupid donating washing machines to then be like, look, we're in the washing machine business. This is good for the.
But
may I respond?
So the bigger problem would be is you would want Whirlpool to say that we spend money to help dads not be alcoholics and moms not be depressed about dad being an alcoholic.
There are programs for that.
So
that's the problem.
May I respond, Tom? So the first
also
point.
The people, real quick.
Yeah.
Also, the people that you're helping in the ad don't have the money to buy the washers you're advertising by doing the ad, right?
They probably have the washer. They just don't.
But they're not advertising. They're just showing the world how generous they are.
Let's be honest. What is that?
What?
It's an ad.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that goes to your first point. Is corporate?
So my point is they don't have the money to buy the washers you're advertising.
No. But they're advertising to me to say like, oh, look how charitable Whirlpool is. They're solving this epidemic of apparently kids. And I'm like, I don't know if that's right. I think it stinks like a giant marketing campaign that a bunch of people sat around and were like, hey, I got an idea. Like,
they were saying the same.
So use these stats. Yeah.
So with respect to corporate responsibility, there are corporations, there are B corporations that incorporate doing good into the core of their mission. That is kind of a different setup and a more modern setup than many corporations that we're familiar with that have been around for a longer period of time. Many corporations that are traditional corporations have some sort of corporate responsibility. Some of those businesses are more. They have a better corporate responsibility program, and there is a legitimate benevolent purpose in those programs, and then others are simply marketing tactics. It's impossible for us to say whether this is some legitimate effort or just a marketing tactic. I'm always skeptical of any type of charity that is promoted, because the best type of charity is anonymous charity, because then the purpose is altruism instead of self-aggrandizement and enriching yourself. As to your second point, with respect to this corporate responsibility, I don't think it probably fits within the mission of Whirlpool to go into homes and address mental health or addiction, but it does fit in the mission of Whirlpool to provide laundry services, so that makes sense. But the other part of that is dealing with the symptom of dirty laundry is a much more attainable goal than dealing with a fundamental issue of mental illness or addiction or abuse or neglect. Those are deeply complicated social and societal issues, and it's not really within the purview of Whirlpool to do that.
Well, the stereotype that I saw when I put myself into like a young school kid, when I put myself in that age, the stereotype that I saw were the vast majority of the people that socioeconomically were lower were the cleaner kids. And it was the more don't give a damn about what they've been gifted, spoiled, maybe possibly rich children that were maybe a little bit more
I think it's probably
messy and gross.
I'd be curious about that, because I
got two kids in mind that I'm thinking of in my brain right now, and I can't say who they are because their families live around here.
That's funny.
But 100%, the rich kid was the messy, you need to clean yourself up kid, and the mom and dad that didn't have much made sure that their daughter was.
That makes sense. I would imagine it's
top. They didn't have a lot of money, and she wasn't wearing fancy clothing, but she'd come out looking like $100,000.
I would imagine it's probably more common in single parent homes, simply because when you've got two parents, you can complement each other's deficits. Even if one parent is down, the other parent can step up, and that probably correlates also to the amount of money available, because a single parent income is tougher. Not always, but can be a tighter income. And a tighter budget to live on. So there might be some correlation there, but I would imagine that addiction crosses economic boundaries, and so does abuse and neglect.
I could be,
although typically addiction and mental health issues correlate to income issues too, because if you're an alcoholic and you're not functional, then you're not making money either.
But even going back to the original problem, they said, is it? And I could be totally out of touch, and I have no idea, but maybe some school teachers will
the
let us know.
simplified question is you don't necessarily believe this is as big a problem as is stated by the act.
Yeah, well, also, like, is there situations where parents go to take their elementary school kid to school or whatever, and they literally
are so messy.
All their clothes are so bad that their only option is to not go to school.
No, what happens is a kid is getting made fun of for being dirty and having dirty clothes, and they've got a single parent who's maybe at work or is just unavailable for whatever reason and isn't making sure they're out the door, and they opt to stay home because they don't want to be embarrassed and shamed and bullied at school because they've got dirty clothes.
How dirty?
Now that makes sense. That's something that, again, based on what Steven was saying earlier, Whirlpool can't address bullying, not necessarily their lane.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So, although I've got to wonder where they're finding space. I mean, I know I'm involved with Advent Health in Altamont, the hospital, Florida hospital there, and it's difficult to find space in institutions. If we were trying to find a spot for getting toys for kids, and sometimes it's just tough to find space. I can't imagine where schools are going to find that are already being at maximum capacity, that have trailers out back a lot of times because they don't have capacity within the confines of the school for kids, where they're finding space for laundry machines. That doesn't make sense to me. That part I can't see.
Listen,
but maybe there's space in the custodial area.
It screamed to me as like a bunch of marketing
home
people
ec?
coming and like
is home ec still a thing? That's not a thing anymore, right?
I think they have classes.
Do they?
Yeah.
Because
those classes are such underrated important classes.
They're teaching people how to live.
Well, like even as
that's important. Teaching people how to live.
Well, like kind of going along with what Tom's saying, like you're right. Like I don't even know where they'd put them, but I'm thinking if you put them in the home ec class, I mean, I wish that somebody at DeLand High School, we had Mr. Snow who taught us how to do our taxes. That was dope.
Yeah,
because it was so practical.
Actual life skills.
Yeah, it was great. He taught us how to use a deposit slip, write a check,
nice,
balance
which is completely useless now.
It is, but not to Tom. He still does it. But like there's certain things that were taught. If somebody had taught me how to do my laundry, that'd have been pretty rad.
Yeah,
like I'd be okay with that.
Oh yeah,
how to cook? That's a great one. Yeah. That's really important.
Well,
but doing my own laundry, I think I would have liked to have. You guys were talking about, and you were talking about your mom making you bring it to the area to get it washed, and I'm sure you have maybe a similar story. I was never asked to do that.
Oh, I did laundry.
Man, I was pretty blessed, but it wasn't because I wasn't willing, and it wasn't because there was a spoiled factor there. Mom is pretty particular about the way she wants her laundry done, and I married someone who is exactly like that. Because I am not good at... Are you good at laundry?
I can do it. I mean, it's not...
That's
I'm
not
good at laundry. I'm not great at folding.
Well, how are you good at it? You put the detergent in there, you push a button.
See, then you're bad at it. No, there's more.
There's a way. You have to sort. You have to decide the wash type that you're going to use.
All
whether you
the
use
pockets,
water mix.
This has to be inside out.
Gotta make
this
sure they're
can't
empty.
Be
That's
inside
right.
out. Where are the extra buttons? It's
don't throw it. Separate your darks and your lights.
Okay, well, yeah. I mean,
if you watched Andrea do laundry, you'd be like, "Oh yeah, I'm bad at laundry."
You put a red, scarf in with a bunch of white shirts. You got a problem.
Yeah, no.
First off, you're probably not supposed to wash the scarf.
Yeah, guess who did that with all of Maisie's dresses?
So they're all pink.
I put one red dress in there that had like a Christmas cat on it, and then all of her other dresses I ruined like 17
that had
dresses.
To have been popular.
17 dresses. Oh yeah,
you must be a hero.
And guess who found it? It wasn't Andrew who found it. It was Maisie.
Was she excited? She was like, "Oh, my dresses are pink. This is amazing."
Do you think she was excited?
That look tells me she wasn't.
Not excited. And then they ganged up on me, and it's not good.
Well, you're outnumbered.
Well, I'm not good at laundry.
But that's a perfect cop-out, too. Like, now, forevermore, it was a brilliant strategy that you just employed because those 17 dresses just excused you for laundry for the rest of your life.
I didn't do it on purpose.
There's a smile that
you're supposed to be my attorney. You're supposed to help me, not ruin me in front of the courtroom.
The secret is revealed. I had a law school professor, Tide, had like the dirtiest kid in America contest. It was like, send us pictures of your dirty kids.
You want to win.
Yeah.
I think they won.
You had a
law school dean at my law school.
He won having the dirtiest kid.
He was trying to. He was really trying to. It was like a vote on a thing.
Hold on, I gotta look this up.
Well, yeah.
This was like, I was in law school a long, long time ago. This is 20 years ago.
I mean, at what point...
Isn't that weird? I was in law school 20 years ago.
do you call DCF if a kid shows up so dirty, or tells you like I couldn't go to school because my clothes are so dirty? Like,
You may
oh
be,
my God,
if
what's
you're a
happening
teacher,
at
you
your
may
house?
be obligated to.
Yeah. Anyway,
Damned if
That's sad, too.
Damned if they didn't do it. They did a dirtiest kid contest.
That's hilarious.
This is
Because kids get dirty, and
they took this.
they should get dirty.
Steven, they took this all around the nation. There's some footage from these contests that they would do. And this was 1996, and I guess they did it a bunch of times. And this is Monique Aldred and her son, and he's dressed in a tiny tied outfit, and he's running the dirtiest kid obstacle course.
I love it. It's like a mud run for kids.
That's ridiculous. You want to take a little break?
Yeah.
All right, we'll take a quick break, come back with more A Gentleman's Guide right after this. In our constant attempt to super serve you and give you BDM and AMT listener experiences with our clients, Tom?
Yep.
Tell them how they can get the Blanchard insurance treatment.
Yeah, well, this is a brand new sponsor of ours, and they reached out, and they were like, hey, do you think your audience would appreciate some really high-quality customer service insurance there where we'll make sure we custom tailor all their policies? First, we'll find them the cheapest, the most inexpensive rates, but we will also make sure that what they're getting covers their needs, because it's not all about finding the least expensive, because what's the use of paying for insurance when you go to make a claim and you're like, oh, well, you picked the cheaper plan that doesn't cover what you...
Sorry.
Yeah. So that's the whole point. It's not about paying the most, the least. It's about making sure you're covered. That's the whole point of insurance.
Correct.
And that's what Blanchard Insurance can do for you, because they're going to give you extra customer service, especially if you're one of our listeners.
Yes, they love that kind of stuff. They're that kind of company.
Yeah, home, auto, any insurance you could possibly think of. I know we're going to start using Blanchard Insurance for events and liability insurance.
Actually, kind of nice to have them on board, and you can check them out at BlanchardInsurance.com. That's BLANCHARD insurance.com.
Yeah, you can call them 407-788-8640, and just let them know that you're a Tom and Dan listener. They're going to be excited. They're like, oh, okay, great. We're going to take care of you. Yep. We're going to make sure to get you a representative that's going to handle all your needs. There's multiple locations: Altamont Springs, Daytona Beach, Lando Lake, St. Pete office.
They pretty much got the entire state covered.
Yeah.
So.
And like I said, just let them know that you're a Tom and Dan listener, and they'll make sure you get the most inexpensive policy that suits your needs the best. And like I said, they do all types of insurance. It's BlanchardInsurance.com.
We're back with the Gentleman's Guide to Manliness. I'm Steve Kramer.
Tom Van.
Dan Dennis. Now, we had some voicemails. I teased one, I think a little bit before the break, that might tie into something that Steven wanted to talk about. I don't believe we've ever addressed this, so let's address it now.
Hey guys, this one's for a Gentleman's Guide. I don't think I've ever heard Steve talk about briefcases. What are his opinions or recommendations? Does he like the ones that are like a half messenger bag? Does he like the classic all leather with just a handle, aluminum, like he's carrying some launch codes? What are his opinions and recommendations?
Now, but before Steven jumps into this, I would like to maybe defer to Tom first in the fact that how come you don't ever carry a bag?
It ties into me not.
Have you ever
able
carried
to
a bag?
Well, do you have
No.
anything to carry?
Well,
Backpack?
I'm sure I do. No, never carried a bag. I am not responsible enough with my belongings to take care of them or know where they're at. I will leave them everywhere. I've never been... So I basically folded to my own disability, the mental disability, which is can't take care of things, can't...
You think you would lose it? Or
Yeah. I would forget it every day. I mean, it took me so long just to put on a watch.
Yeah, but like Steven, he's really good at it now. Like he actually remembers his watch.
I forgot it for the first part of this week, and then today was the first day, but I have to leave it charging now by my sink, so when I'm making the kids lunch, I remember to put it on. Like, I'm 37 years old, and I have to do things like a child because I don't have the qualities to be able to remember. I'm not structured.
You're going a little deep on it. I think you just don't like routine. You just don't like it.
Yeah, but it's a disability.
Insterquiliness in Venator.
Are you going crazy?
Oh, he just got a bell on you, brother.
Get out of here, witch!
Essentially,
get out!
That which you need most is where you do not want to go.
There's nothing I love more than this new scream thing that Tom does now. He started with the
makes me glad I keep my
tell me,
low.
and then now it's not just tell me. Now it's an explosion of anger, and I don't know if it's real or he's mad at me or what's happening. But I will say that I love it. There's nothing I love more. And,
I'm sorry.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
But the point is that which you need routine. We all need routine, and you should not be a victim of your own inadequacies. You can win this. I used to have that philosophy.
I'm always
with
a
sunglasses.
victim of my own inadequacies.
Well, you shouldn't be.
That's my whole life.
You're not like you've tightened up. You've lost weight.
The goal is to be the best you.
You've gotten stronger.
That's right.
I mean, we both have been dedicated to trying to be healthier, right? Would you not say that we've stuck with that?
Yeah,
collectively, we have done we have lost between the two of us
a lot.
60 plus pounds.
Yeah,
30 apiece. And plus, that's great.
The only reason I've been able to do it is because now I have enough money to throw money at it.
You are selling yourself short.
No.
It takes discipline and commitment.
It's compliment.
No.
He's regimenting. In the morning, he eats a smoothie. For lunch, he eats either a salad or something small.
And it's easy to pay for. It's easy to pay for a gym or a personal trainer. It's a lot hard to follow through and show up. There's a million excuses.
Well, you do.
I'm not feeling good today. Whatever.
But you're a routine guy because there have been times when you've come in and you'll be like, I've gained a little weight, and then 2 weeks later you'll be like, it's gone. I made it. You're good at that stuff.
I mean, yeah, because it's healthy. I mean,
we're not talking about briefcases.
Having routine and
we will
structure.
talk about briefcases. I promise.
It is a requirement for mental health to have some sort of structure in your life, to have some sort of habits. I mean, habits create character. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and you shouldn't sell yourself short. I mean, it's just one more thing to defeat on the list of life. But I mean, I used to have that philosophy too with sunglasses. I never bought expensive sunglasses because I always lost them. But you know what? I think you're a little bit like me. And anytime I bought something expensive,
he's admitting it. I knew he'd admit the orb one day.
It's true. Well, as soon as I buy something expensive, I take care of it.
He's a little like you. He didn't admit to the orb.
Yeah.
You wanted him to admit that you think
the reason I don't have an orb is because I have structure.
I almost cursed.
I'm over organized to make up for my own weaknesses.
But it's
my office is probably the most organized law office in the city because as a kid I was disorganized and I wanted to beat it and I made a commitment to it probably when I first started college, and therefore I'm almost overly organized. I'll walk around and be like, that gets off the floor right now.
You are Tom Van. You are Orble. I can't Riedenbacher.
I
buy a pair of expensive sunglasses. You won't lose them. Because you're too parsimonious.
You
That's
don't
a
know
diplomatic term for being cheap.
I will definitely lose them.
He gave you the definition, so you knew he was insulting.
In fact,
he's like, take that.
Here's my defense.
Oh, you don't know what it means? That's what it means.
You haven't lost your watch. You're wearing your wedding ring.
I did lose it for a year.
Yeah, he did lose it for a year.
And then I found it.
No, you misplaced it because you got it back. If you never found it, it would be lost. Instead, it was just misplaced.
Now, that's a good attorney.
Okay.
He slips into mode, slips out of it.
Right.
All right.
But it's one of these things where I found myself basically not.
We will come back to briefcase.
Yeah, we will. It started with the watch. I bought a watch and I was not going to lose the watch. I still have that same watch. I got it when I was maybe 19 years old.
Cool. That's cool.
I was like, I need to be able to know what time it is, and I need people to know that time matters to me. I'm getting a watch. And then I did a pen, and I bought an expensive pen.
Yeah.
I bought my first Mont Blanc. It was a gift card that I had. It was $100 at Sam's Club, and I bought it, and I have that same pen still. And then I did sunglasses and all those things. I made a commitment. I'm not ever going to lose these things ever. I have lost a tie bar though because it popped off my tie.
So
I had a Mont Blanc stolen. Does that count?
No.
God,
that's not a loss.
That one still hurts.
The briefcase.
I lost one nice pen in the last 25 years.
the only instance you need a briefcase really nowadays is to bring your laptop to work.
I want a briefcase. I have, if you look to your right, Tom, I have a Toomey, and it's the lower end. So a lot of people will write into us and say, like you guys throw around some brands that you really, really like, but I'll price those brands and they're overpriced. That is not. I will tell you right now, that is a Toomey, which is an upper brand, but it's the T-Tech, so it's the lower version of Toomey, right? I got that bag for $35 at the outlets.
So
I think everybody can kind of afford that, right? It's a nice-ass bag, $35.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer. But anybody who's professional needs a briefcase because you have use for it. I mean, almost everybody has a laptop or an iPad, and therefore you need something to carry that around. Maybe you have just a small case for it, but if you have a briefcase, you can carry other things around. You have sunglasses, you have things you don't want to lose, you can keep them in one spot. And if you're a professional, you still work with papers. It's just a reality. We have electronic files for everything we do, so we have all soft files, but we still have a ton of paper, and we have to carry paperwork around. So that's another reason to do that. Basically, you have pens, you have things that you need to carry, that glasses, whatever. That's what a briefcase is used for. My opinion is, if you're going to get a briefcase, get the best quality that you can reasonably afford and go classic. Classic
Leather?
styles. Unless you're vegan, if you're vegan, whatever, get something vegan. But if you're not, then get a leather briefcase and get like top grain or full grain. Full grain is the entire grain of the leather. Top grain is a piece of it, but they're not bonded leather, which is basically glued together leather. It will not wear well. Allen Edmonds has great bags.
Oh, man.
Hermes, if you want to buy a car, buy an Hermes briefcase.
They're beautiful. They're fun to look at. But it's one of those things where Tom was talking about this.
That is literally buying a car.
Earlier today. Oh, yeah, so expensive. But it's one of those things where you look at it like, what? Well, Steven, I'll have to defer to Steven.
What are you talking about?
Thousands.
Yeah,
for an attaché.
Like more
tens of
Hermes,
thousands?
Yeah, like could be more than a woman's handbag.
You could do Swain Adney. That's like a classic brand. Those get really expensive too. I mean, those are like really expensive bags. But you could get a good bag from a lot of places. Just make sure top grain, full grain, or some type of quality vegan product.
There was a company that reached out to us about advertising a couple of years ago called Nutsack.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I remember.
And it was a bag, and it's kind of blowing up on Facebook now. But I just got to be real. I can't get past the name because to me it reminds me of that company that advertised with Real Radio back in the day called Papa D's Nuts, and their ad campaign was Papa D's Nuts in your mouth, and I'm just like, I don't think, well, maybe I should. Steven's cry laughing. Maybe we should have advertised Nutsack, but
it's really hard to make that professional sell.
I don't want to be known as the Nutsack guys. I don't.
So you've got pad folios. Pad folio is like the smallest, thinnest type of briefcase. It's designed to hold a pad or an electronic pad. You got a portfolio is a little bit bigger. You have a messenger bag. I think most people have a archetype of what they envision for that. You have an attaché case. That's a traditional briefcase,
I want the one
angular.
Like you have. What's the one that you have that you bring in here? That's the leather and it looks like a saddle, and you've had it a long time, so it's got like some oil on it and some scratches.
Nice patina.
It's got oh man, and what is that one?
That's an Allen Edmonds bag.
That's a good bag.
Yeah, it's a mixture of traditional.
Couple $100, $1,000.
No, it was a few $100, but I bought it 5 years ago and it's lasted, and that's the benefit of buying a really good quality product is you don't have to buy it over and over again.
What do you just wipe it down?
Yeah, you'd use mink oil or some type of saddle soap, put leather polish on it or whatever if you've got a leather bag.
The patina on that bag, though, like if you saw Steven's bag, I don't think you have it on you today.
It's in my car.
But when you see it, like I think people have seen it on the Twitch broadcast before. Like when you see it, you're like, I don't know, like I like that one. Because
you're going to get a barrister bag.
It tells a story a little bit. That's why I have all these crazy pins all over my bag. It's like that thing doesn't really wear because it's nylon. It's waterproof. But Butler got a new bag. He got one. I think he bought it in England. And I think he did. He might have bought it before he went on his trip. But he has a nice new bag. And Samantha carries a bag. You're the only one that doesn't.
I
mean, if you've got a laptop or a pad.
I don't think you have a laptop either, do you?
No.
You're a phone guy.
Well, no, I got a laptop here and then at home.
That defeats the purpose of a laptop.
More,
I know. Yeah,
just have two desktops. It's cheaper and.
I've come to terms that I can't be responsible enough to remember to bring anything in my life.
I'll tell you a quirk about that I have. I've had this quirk.
I can't even. I'm a 37-year-old man. I can't even have the responsibility to bring.
My quirk is I have a laptop, and ever since I've had a laptop, I'm always like I used to go to do SPK show, and I would literally, that turn you take out of the iHeart building and you turn onto Lake Destiny or whatever. Yeah. Every time I turn onto Lake Destiny, I'd be like, did I forget my bag? And then I turn around and look in the back seat. It's always there. But I can't tell you how many times I pulled over and popped my trunk, and I was like, oh, it's there.
Yeah.
Every time, always, for years, because I was concerned, I don't want to lose my laptop. That would be a really bad thing to lose.
Well, why not just seems...
And that's kind of chilled out over the years.
Yeah.
Because when I first got a laptop, it was a bigger deal. Especially when we got my MacBook.
I went through a phase.
Keep one at home and one at work. You don't have to carry anything.
That's what desktops are for.
It's a laptop thing for me. And I don't know where I stand really yet. I think I'm a hybrid of you and Steve a little bit, because like some days I'll bring my iPad home because I feel like I'm going to use it, or there's going to be something I want to do, or maybe Maisie wants to color on it using my Apple Pencil. And then some days I'll bring it, or leave it here. And I haven't really figured out, like, because I live so close, I think it doesn't matter to me any. Like, the bag to me is if you have a commute.
I like the options. My office, I like the options. So every single day I have my laptop, I have my iPad, and I put them in my bag and I carry them. My bag's like probably a hybrid of a barrister bag with a strap. That's another type of bag. You can get a barrister bag, kind of like a soft briefcase. You can look it up to see what it looks like. I think people have a vision. And then there's a doctor bag. That's yet another type of bag.
That's the old school,
very
the one
classic.
that opens at the top, right?
That's
the one. Yeah, and then you pull the forceps out to deliver a baby, or you pull out the laudanum to put somebody out of their misery.
You got your bone saw, just
you got a stick that people bite on. Some bloody rags.
I don't think that doctors don't carry bags like that very often. Once upon a time, they had all of their tools in that bag, and they made their rounds or circuit or whatever.
Sure. No guy is matching their briefcase or satchel to their clothes like a woman does her purse, do they?
I think you could. You could have a brown bag and a black bag, so that whatever you're wearing. But the rules are not the same. Like, your belt better match your shoes, but like at least in the same color scheme. Your bag is a little more flexible, but it's probably technically better to use your black bag when you're wearing black shoes.
God,
and brown
some of the
brown.
things. Sometimes I think you're like following me, or like have my house bugged or something, because I was just reading an article, or at least flipping through a digital article about how there is a trend for your more flashier gentlemen to have multiple bags that they do match with their outfit.
Mine works because I usually wear brown shoes.
Cameras in your house. I've seen you and your wife.
Your biorhythms are in sync.
It is a scary nightmare. I was scared.
Which
by it.
part? Me? Just me.
I thought that I would die after 7 days after watching it.
What did you see?
Like the ring. He was alluding to watching me make love to my wife.
How did you see that?
Because he has cameras in my house.
He thinks I bugged his house.
No, there are guys
it's a radio
that will do
thing,
that.
isn't
Now,
it?
I wouldn't do it. I'm more along Steve's line. I'm more along the lines of, as long as I'm shoe to belt, I'm good. Bag, more leeway. But, you kind of gravitate more to like a rich, like a brown color with
this
a lot.
Is walnut today.
Yeah, I like those.
Yeah.
And your bag is similar to that.
That's
so
right. My bag's a walnut too.
You do a lot of like navies and a lot of like rich browns. I like that.
Yeah, I do too. And the rules are more flexible to allow more brown now. And the old, like, you talk to Jim Phillips, and he will tell you do not wear brown shoes with a navy suit. But there's a lot more flexibility now. You can.
Who determines that? Like, overall,
I think there's. It's
world?
like all rules of society. It's kind of something that we form by consensus, and what's acceptable, what's not. It's like the Overton window. That's the acceptable, window for debate and dialogue. That window shifts and moves, and the same thing with any.
It's like hats in restaurants. Like
don't do that
if it's fancy. I don't take it off, but I'm not going to take my hat off if I go into PDQ.
Yeah.
But there was a time when I would have.
Oh man,
there was a time when my dad would have slapped the hat off my head.
I was going to say that.
Oh,
I lived with my best friend's family when I was in high school, and everywhere I would go, she would slap that hat off of me, and she actually taught me that: do not wear your hat inside.
No.
And I still will not.
Not inside.
And I went to dinner with my good friend who is a drummer in my band, and we were at a local nice restaurant, like casual, nice restaurant in town, and we're sitting down. I was like, dude, you got to take off your hat. And he did not want to take off his hat. I was like, you need to take off your hat. This is not good. And he's like, no, I'm not taking off my hat. And then I was like, all right. I was mad.
And when you leave?
Guess what
I'm
happens?
out of here.
5 minutes later, not 5 minutes later, the manager comes over, taps him on the shoulder, and says, sir, we'd like you to remove your hat.
That's embarrassing.
Did he do it?
He did. Of course he did.
No,
it was a requirement for the dining room.
My hat.
And
Move
then
it for me, punk.
And then
I was like,
and then you're like
yeah!
the Asian guy in the play, and then they punch you in the nose and drag you out.
He was bright red,
bleeding and crying.
He's bright red, sheepish.
You
like
go
all of a sudden, it collapsed on himself.
They're dragging you out.
There's one fashion.
That was total
feeling.
Vindication.
That one hurts though. Oh man.
Yeah.
I
tried to spare him. I tried to help him
before it became. Is it Hillstone now?
Oh yeah, no, that's what it was. It was Houston's.
Was it really? I was in Houston too. I had one. I can top it though.
What happened with you? Did you get angry?
No.
Did you walk out?
I got asked to. They put actually. Forget like something about my shirt being inappropriate, and then they put I had to end up putting like a jacket over it.
Really?
Yeah.
What was your shirt?
I can't. I'm trying to remember.
It's not. You can't remember that.
Something more like medley, like a punky or something. Yeah.
Wow.
Not good.
That's worse.
It's very.
That's
embarrassing.
way worse.
You ever been asked to change your clothes or anything?
Well, they gave me a jacket in Italy going into a casino.
Well, almost any restaurant.
Put the hairs everywhere.
Almost any restaurant where jackets are required, they will have a coat room with jackets for men that need them, and that shouldn't be embarrassing.
That's why I've always
That's
liked
a courtesy.
Phil Collins. That's why I've always liked Phil Collins.
There's some place
jacket
that will
required.
give you pants, right? Like
That
slacks.
is a specific joke. That was such a dad
It's
joke
just for you.
from our generation.
It's only for you. Tom doesn't know who the hell he
Well, he doesn't know anything about any music.
No, he doesn't.
He doesn't know.
If I say Phil
The
Collins,
monologue
no
from-
jacket required, you have no idea what I'm saying. Dude.
No,
If I say
Phil
Genesis,
Collins
do you think of American Psycho?
Nah,
Because I do.
I mean, not really.
Bret Easton Ellis.
God, I was listening to a podcast the other day. They were
There
telling
are
a story
places
about-
they'll bring you pants.
They were telling a story. I can't remember.
Pants?
That's embarrassing.
That's way worse than a
Put
jacket.
these pants
It was
on.
about the what's that?
Bum pants.
The Magic. It's in L.A. That the Magic,
the Magic Castle.
Magic Castle. They have.
We had an
pants.
invite to that, but we just didn't have enough time to go there when we were in L.A.
I forgot what podcast it was.
Are they
but
magic pants?
They
All I can
said-
think of when you say that is the Gothic castle from
yeah.
Arrested
Well,
Development.
the Magic Castle has a ton of rules as far as you have to be a member or be invited by a member to go there.
We have members-only clubs
There's
here.
an extremely extensive dress code I'm about to pull up before we get out of here.
There are a number of members-only clubs in this town. A number.
What are one of them? I want to.
Get us into one.
What's the
Come on,
hardest
man.
one?
Get
to
us
get
into
in
one, Steve.
Who are someone's in a group of people in Orlando that are movers and shakers that kind of pull the strings in this city. I'm sure they get together and they're part of some club or the high rollers. I've got a glimpse of a little bit about this, but it was
oh God,
It makes more sense if you were
All
in
the
the area of
club
town. If I worked downtown, I would be more likely to frequent. But
let me read this
it's not
dress code to you
practical
because
if your office is in Seminole County.
let me read this to you. Men, this is for the Magic Castle in L.A. All members and guests are required to dress in business
Can you say it in
attire.
British?
What's
accent?
that?
Can you read this with a British accent?
Sure. All members and guests are required to dress in business attire or evening wear that is conservative, formal, and elegant. Formal suit or suit coat with dress shirt, tie, and dress slacks. No denim with closed-toed shoes required. No casual footwear. Exceptions to the tie rule are, as stated, full turtleneck, no mock turtlenecks, bow ties, bolo ties, ascots, and branded collars when worn correctly. Military dress, no fatigues. Ethnic attire and or religious garb are allowed as exceptions to our dress requirements. Leather jackets with buttons, dressy blazers, leather pants, and linen suits may also be accepted unless viewed by management as casual outerwear or unacceptable attire. During all times, you must keep your dress shirts tucked in their waistbands. Keep your necktie properly tied so that the knot is near and not off the collar. Keep the suit jacket blazer on when moving throughout the club. It is acceptable to remove one's jacket while seated in the showroom, watching a performance, sitting down at the dining room, or in a temporary wrap. Another guest is if a guest is cold. That's weird.
That should be the gentleman.
Yeah, but I guess you could do that to a man or a woman.
Yeah.
You know, like if your date is cold, you may remove your jacket to warm them up. There you go.
So the story I heard was that someone walked in with jeans and they gave him like baggy slacks to put over his jeans.
Oh God!
Well, that will teach them next time. That cognitive dissonance will teach them next time. Don't wear jeans because this is embarrassing and you've been shamed.
Even for lunch or Saturday or Sunday brunch, no shorts. Absolutely, no shorts are permitted.
Yeah,
God, I don't know.
Shorts are rare or not.
I don't know if that would work around here though, right?
Wear.
I mean, like in Florida, I mean, it gets. I don't know how you guys do it. You know, walking to the courthouse, you're wearing suits all the time. That would drive me insane.
Yeah. I mean,
first off, 6 months of the year, the weather is phenomenal here, so that's not really an issue. And it's only really 3 months that are awful. And we have, unlike other places where it is also almost as hot during the months of July and August, we have really good air conditioning here. In some ways, I think it's easier in summer here.
Right.
I've been in Chicago and New York and everywhere during the summer.
Well, if it gets hot in places where air conditioning isn't a big deal, then you're kind of effed.
Yeah,
right?
you are. And it's really hot places in July and August, almost everywhere in America, except for maybe the Pacific Northwest.
Like every time they have some sort of heat wave that goes through Europe or whatever, or places they don't have AC, like that's where it's miserable bad. Because there's no way to escape it. Here, you're right. You go from an AC car into an AC building. You're not running a tough.
And you wear summer slacks. You wear summer weighted clothing. That way, it's manageable.
How do you feel about linen pants, like Boys to Men linen pants?
Maybe not Boys to Men, but linen pants are fine. Linen suits good,
pants, but no underpants, right?
Absolutely, with linen.
Yeah, you'll see the impression.
Well, but that if I wear like. Black underpants, and you'll see my superhero butt.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like going al natural is the way to go.
Because
you just don't want a high concentration of pubes. You're going to have to mow that down. So
you're wearing linen because it's probably warmer season. That is the best reason of all to wear underwear.
And then you can do that move where you flap it up and down like waka 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 waka. Everybody does that. Guys.
One firm
you're a
for
girl
life.
And you can do that. It's impressive.
Something.
It'll get you.
OneFirmForLife.com, my Kramer Law Firm, for any of your law needs.
We talked to old friendly Ray.
Yep.
Was it yesterday we talked to him?
It'll be on tomorrow's show.
And he was showing us pictures of his children destroying his house with paint everywhere. Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that.
But, yeah, if you need some legal advice, OneFirmForLife.com. That is who you should contact. Anything else, fellas?
That's it.
All right, guys, we'll see you next week.